In this video, I'll show you how to easily straighten buildings or anything else using Affinity Photo. I'm using Affinity Photo 2.3.1. These buildings were nice and straight, but that's not how my camera saw them. This is a common problem which can be easily fixed using Mesh Warp. There's both a Mesh Warp tool and a Mesh Warp live filter. They work the same, but the live filter is non-destructive, so I'll be using that. If you prefer to use the Mesh Warp tool, it can be accessed down here. I'll click on the Live Filters icon and select Mesh Warp from the menu. The image has been surrounded by a white rectangle with tiny square nodes at each corner. Any node can be grabbed to adjust the image. Notice that when I click on the node, two handles appear. These are curvature handles. These can also be used to adjust the image. You can also click-drag on any part of the white rectangle. I'll click the Reset button on the Context toolbar to reset the mesh rectangle. Parts of an image can be isolated, allowing you to make adjustments to those parts only. To demonstrate, I'll isolate the tower in the background. First, I'll double-click the top edge of the mesh rectangle to add a vertical line. Next, I'll add a horizontal line by double-clicking on the side of the mesh rectangle. Now I can use the top left corner node to adjust the quadrant containing the sunlit tower without affecting other parts of the photo. But if I use the wrong set of curvature handles or grab part of the mesh rectangle, I'll affect other parts of the photo as well. This feature can be handy, but I try to avoid using it as it tends to complicate things, making the task harder. I always try to use the four corner nodes only. I'll click the Reset button. To delete an added node, click on it and press the Delete key on your keyboard. Okay, now let's straighten these buildings. I'll start with the sunlit tower in the background. I'll grab the upper right node and pull it to the right. Now the building in the foreground, I'll grab the upper left node and pull it to the left. The tower in the background is a bit off, so I'll grab the upper right node again to adjust it. That looks good, so I'll click the Done button on the Context toolbar to commit to changes. To get a better idea of how straight things really are, I'll add some guides. To add guides, rulers must be visible, so from the View menu, I'll select Show Rulers. Rulers have appeared at the top and left of the screen. Before I can add a guide, the Move tool needs to be selected. To add a vertical guide, click anywhere on the left ruler and holding down the mouse, drag out a guide line. I'll drag it over to the tower in the background. I can barely see that, so I'll change its color to help it stand out. From the View menu, I'll select Guides. To change guide color, click the light blue rectangle in the bottom left of the dialog where it says Color. I'll click the Close button. To move a guide, just grab it with the mouse. That looks pretty straight. I'll add another guide to check the foreground building. You can add as many guides as you like. It's not needed for this photo, but I'll add a horizontal guide to show how it's done. Simply click on the top ruler and drag out a guide line. I'll adjust the image a bit more. I'll expand the background image layer and click on the Mesh Warp layer's thumbnail to enable it. Notice the Mesh Warp rectangle is where I left it. Okay, that looks good. If you need to adjust the guides, select the Move tool. Then to make more adjustments or commit your changes, click on the Mesh Warp's thumbnail to reactivate it. I'll click the Done button to commit my changes. Because of the shot angle, not every vertical line should be 90 degrees. It's best to focus on making the image look natural rather than perfectly straight. To remove a guide, just grab it and move it outside of the photo. But first, the Move tool has to be selected. To remove all guides, first select Guides from the View menu. And then click the Remove All Guides button at the bottom of the dialog. When straightening an image, you can end up with empty spaces around the edges. I'll click on the Mesh Warp layer's thumbnail to activate it and show you what I mean. I'll pull down the top right corner and pull up the bottom left corner. I'll click Done to commit. Now there's empty space in the top and bottom right of the image. It's best to avoid this if you can, but there are a few ways to fix it. One way is to use the Inpainting Brush tool. That tool is destructive, so I'll first add an empty pixel layer by clicking the Add Pixel Layer icon at the bottom of the Layers panel. I'll select the Inpainting Brush tool. Now on the Context toolbar, I'll change Current Layer to Current Layer and Below. Setting it to Current Layer and Below allows me to paint on the pixel layer instead of directly on the background layer. I'll paint over the exposed areas. The square bracket keys can be used to adjust the size of the brush. That seems to have worked well. I'll zoom in to check the foreground area. There are some slight issues. I'll try painting over the problem spots. Sometimes it takes a few tries to get a good result with the Inpainting brush. Not perfect, but probably good enough. I'll zoom back out. Another option is simply to crop the photo. First, I'll delete the pixel layer to undo the inpainting. Now I'll select the crop tool. I'll adjust the crop rectangle to hide the exposed areas. I'll click the Apply button up on the Context toolbar to commit the new crop. That worked. No need to check anything. The only downside is that parts of the photo have been lost. That may or may not be an issue. Of course, you can always shoot a bit wider to accommodate this. Let's do a before and after. I'll turn the Mesh Warp layer off and on. Not bad at all, and pretty easy. No need to put up with slanted buildings if you don't want to. Thank you for watching.